You're listening to Beyond the Surface with Faith Davis, a commitment to authenticity and the truths we inherently share. In this episode, we will be discussing money and my realization of how much it matters. As a part of Gen Z, born in 1999, lit, I know, I was able to experience life before and during the integration of technology. I vividly remember life before it revolved around a phone. It's crazy, I know. But on a serious note, being Black in America comes with its own set of challenges. But I never thought I'd face such a rude awakening after I grew up. I just recently turned 25 in August, Virgo, you know. I feel like life has never felt so clear and foggy at once. I went to a predominantly white school growing up. I feel I had a pretty good education. I did go to college. I majored in journalism. And although that degree hasn't been finished, I believe I gained the skills to continue learning without a classroom setting, which really just means that I developed the discernment and skills that I needed to learn outside of a classroom. So I'm not looking at information incorrectly and receiving it and, telling other people false information. I felt like I played by all the rules in society to have a better life. But my reality began to set in around 22 years old that I was really stuck in a system that was not truly gunning for me. Because I happen to be born Black and a woman. Because I'm marginalized 2 times. But something that I went to Google just to clarify for myself was that more than 80% of Black mothers are the sole breadwinner for their household. I feel like when you have these conversations with friends and family, it's like, yeah, that sounds right. But it's like, damn, we are really born at a disadvantage. And this led me to feel in a whole bunch of ways. Because my first thought is, okay, so then why are Black women reproducing? Like, my mom's favorite movie as a child was Baby Boy. And because I was parentified as a child, I knew that was not healthy love. So I'm like, why are Black women reproducing? Then I'm thinking, me personally, why did my family allow this cycle to continue? And apart from the systematic issues, like from the government because of slavery and everything else, because my family personally, my great-grandmother was a slave in Virginia, and that's only 3 generations back. So it's like I'm understanding all of this and coming to terms with it, and I'm like, wait a minute. I keep coming back to the fact that money is equal in freedom in this society. In this capitalistic society, you need money to experience life. And being a part of a group that doesn't have any money, I'm like, this is, I don't know what I'm supposed to do. Because even if you become the exception, you're still starting from scratch and have to hope someone continues your wealth. Because I feel like something I see a lot in the Black community is that there is 1, maybe 2 people who do what I call it is like class jump, where they make it to a different tax bracket. And it's like, either we have the people who completely disregard their family and, experience that wealth for themselves, or we have the people who are trying to bring their family up with them. So they're constantly going back and trying to sow into them while still, working and doing everything that they can for themselves. And they're just trying to hope that by them doing that, it'll lead their family to building that wealth and sustaining it and keeping this, that momentum going. No one is being taught this, though, at least not Black households. And I'm not sure if my racial counterparts are taught these things when they're young. I just know that I wasn't. And I've watched so many people from different walks of life become cast out of their friendships because they don't make the same amount of money. And people are really suffering. And the idea that if you're poor, you can become blacklisted in the eyes of people because you simply don't have money, and that the fact that it can blind an entire group of people to the needs and humanity of another group just because they don't have money. And it's like people are judging you like it's a moral failing, and you're being villainized for existing. So it's like all of this ties into the fact that, my grandmother was a slave. I had to come to the terms with, even partially playing the capitalist game, that it didn't matter. And even being born when I was born, which is like, that's the time. That was the time to really, I feel like, the best time to grow up without the phone, without all of this stuff. And it's like, my heart breaks for the other people who have to come to this awareness themselves, or the people who I just see experience it, because a lot of us are too stuck in religion and conservative ideas to even realize the bigger issue. I was raised Christian, and I no longer am. I was raised to care about people. But the fact of the matter is, the more schooling I went through, and then, actually experiencing the corporate society, because it's a whole society, y'all. People who work in corporate know. It's the exact opposite. Caring about people is not about to help you get no promotion or help you get ahead. If anything, it's going to put a target on your back, because now people are viewing you as weak. Because then the real way people are making money is scheming and lying and, cheating and all the other things. And a word that I learned is a cultural hegemony. I think that's how you say it. And the upper class has shaped our society specifically like this, so their ideals can be upheld. Like, all these ideas are so contradictory when you learn about them or when you're aware to them. And it really sucks for my community, because they're so, I would say, attached to the idea of work being, a reflection of your value. So they'll work themselves until they in the deathbed. They are in the grave rolled up. And it's just like, why are you so proud of yourself for submitting to a system that is just working us the way it did when we was in change? It's working us the same exact way. And it's like, honestly, everyone is a wage slave, and that's an issue within itself. But Black people are just at an even heavier disadvantage because we start at ground zero. We don't come from it's like there's nothing. Black people are giving their kids nothing and throwing them into a society where all of the things that we don't have help get you through life. And I don't even mean because money, yes, money is very important. But it's the emotional stuff. It's the learning how to not be defensive. It's the learning how to deal with conflict in a healthy way, and how to self-soothe yourself. All of these things. And, we're just not being taught them. And then our culture just has so much, I guess, dislike for anything that is forward moving. It's like that monkeys in a barrel thing. I don't know if anybody knows what that is. I heard that a while ago, and it's really just like there were monkeys in a barrel, and someone was spraying water on them. They were trying to escape, but every time they would try to escape, water would get sprayed on them. So then they were switching out the monkeys, and more or less the monkeys who had been getting water sprayed on them were pulling the other monkeys down, do not even try to escape because you're just going to get hit with the water. And even, as the experiment was progressing, it's like they were taking away the water, and it's like they're still pulling down these monkeys and not wanting them to escape, even though there's nothing there. That's now that we actually have the accessibility to,
collaborate with each other and really like, even form in big groups, because we couldn't do that back in the day, because that was a thing. It's still kind of a thing now, but like, we can do a little something. Like, we're just not doing it out of fear. And I just want there to be some focus on this, because I am personally suffering. And I always felt like, and was made to feel like, it was selfish to focus or say anything about my personal suffering. And it's frustrating to know that my suffering is based on someone's selfish choice just to bring me to this planet anyway, even though they knew it was a whole bunch of crap. But then also just the systems that are ruling my life, the systems that are ruling everyone's life, because we're living in someone else's reality. We don't have all of these freedoms that we believe ourselves and allude ourselves to. We don't really have them. We just are kind of workers in a system keeping things going. And instead of realizing that, we just try to be complacent and work ourselves to fit in the system instead of breaking it. So it's like, because of that, I feel like, there's no middle ground. And then it's like, because we were indoctrinated and raised in these systems, we still want to go for things in them. We still are like, oh yeah, why not go for things and try to succeed in this system, because it's all we know. And that sucks too. It's like, wow, what do I do with this? And then because of it, it's like me, I gotta stop saying me. Y'all know it's me. This is my podcast. Anyway, I grew up in a very abusive household, and I developed a lot of things and disorders that I'll speak about in a later episode. And I, regardless of that, still took the initiative to find out what was wrong with me and, figure out how to move forward. But the gag was, even with that, my therapist would be like, honestly, at the end of the day, we still can't fix these systems. Like, we can't do anything about it. And it's like, okay, so the real issue is we need to take some accountability here. Somebody needs to take accountability, because none of us are changing the root issue. Because I have my own opinions about therapy that I won't fully get into, but I will say that therapy can only help you so much, whether you're medicated or not. I just think that we as a people need to stop distracting ourselves, because there are certain things that we say, even like little sayings. It's like, oh, we can't be comparing our lives to others. Like, no, we need to compare. I feel like statements like that would only be valid if the playing field was equal. Like, how can you tell someone, oh, don't compare your life to somebody's life who's 10 times better than yours, and 9 times out of 10 people are just born into wealth, or they're born into these circumstances and everything is by chance. You know what I mean? And it's like, we all try to make things work with our own cards. I do believe that. And I think we deserve so much better for and from each other. And I just think that specifically for the Black community, because I'm going to always bring it back there, because, mi gente, my people, I'm tired of seeing older people like Kirk and Rashida from Love and Hip Hop who inadvertently promote dysfunction, and y'all just watch it and hype it up so y'all can inadvertently normalize toxicity. I'm tired of seeing Black women, holding Black men down when they don't love us, they don't care. I'm tired of just seeing women trapped within themselves, trying to protect, I don't even know, or whatever they're trying to do for men who could care less. And I'm just tired of it. It's like, I'm just seeing pain and an unwillingness to focus on it. Like, I need us to pay attention to us. Did y'all hear about that woman who died in her office at Wells Fargo? And her coworkers walked past her for days and no one said a thing? Like, what are we working towards? What are we working towards that's so important that no one no one could have opened her door. Is that what we want to keep distracting ourselves from? This capitalistic society, I am not going to let it get me down. And I feel like I could rant about this for hours, but I want each of my podcast topics, each of the layers I want to give them their own, platform. In the next episode, I'd like to talk about ageism and that's role in capitalism. Thank you for listening, and I hope to see you on the next episode.